In 1942, the Atlantic was a silent battlefield, hiding secrets that could alter the course of the war. How one submarine, seemingly ordinary, would carry a forbidden plan capable of shifting naval strategy remained a story few dared to tell. The fleet never expected such audacity, the sheer risk of a vessel diving into enemy-infested waters with the fleet's most critical codes in its hold. Rejected ideas about stealth and strategy had been discarded by commanders, yet this impossible mission pressed forward, executed under the veil of secrecy and relentless determination. The crew, trained yet anxious, understood the magnitude of their task. A single misstep could reveal the codes, jeopardizing thousands of lives and compromising entire operations. Secret operations of this scale were rare, and the very existence of such a mission was shocking. Truth revealed only to those in the highest echelons of command. As the submarine departed its base, waves crashing and sonar humming in the distance, the Atlantic stretched before them, an endless expanse of uncertainty. Every officer knew that the enemy's destroyers patrolled these waters with ruthless efficiency, scanning relentlessly for signs of intrusion. How one man's decision in the captain's chair could determine the survival of the codes and the crew became apparent immediately as sonar echoes signaled approaching threats. Never expected, the challenges that lay ahead would test endurance, skill, and the very willpower of every man aboard. The forbidden plan dictated that the submarine navigate a perilous corridor, threading between minefields, enemy patrols, and unpredictable currents, each factor amplifying the stakes of the mission. Rejected ideas about speed and stealth had been debated fiercely, yet the chosen approach relied on a blend of precision, daring, and unwavering faith in training. The Atlantic was both a cover and a threat, concealing the submarine while threatening to expose every movement to enemy intelligence. Secret operations had never been this audacious, and the knowledge of carrying the fleet's codes transformed an ordinary voyage into an impossible mission. Shocking truth revealed to the captain during briefings underscored the weight of responsibility. The codes, once compromised, could change the outcome of entire battles. Crew members, acutely aware of the stakes, executed drills with heightened focus, understanding that each action, each maneuver, could dictate success or failure. How one slight miscalculation in depth, heading, or speed could attract enemy attention remained a constant shadow over their every move. Never expected, the Atlantic's currents and weather patterns would challenge even the most meticulously planned courses, forcing split-second decisions and improvisation under extreme pressure. Rejected ideas regarding navigation aids, sonar jamming, and stealth approaches had been shelved, leaving only a daring plan that required courage, precision, and absolute coordination. The forbidden plan's essence was clear. The submarine must reach a critical zone, deliver the fleet's codes intact, and emerge without detection. Secret operations such as this demanded more than skill. They demanded extraordinary discipline, psychological resilience, and unyielding focus under relentless tension. Every creak of the hull, every whisper of the crew, and every sonar ping became part of a high-stakes puzzle, testing nerve, ingenuity, and timing. How one overlooked signal could trigger catastrophe was a lesson embedded in every training exercise. Yet never expected were the actual conditions the Atlantic would present in 1942. Rejected ideas about delaying departure or rerouting for safety had been dismissed to maintain operational secrecy, and the crew accepted that the impossible mission required total commitment. Shocking truth revealed during the initial hours underlined that survival, mission success, and the preservation of intelligence rested on unbroken vigilance and impeccable execution. The forbidden plan was now in motion, each second bringing them closer to zones of extreme danger. Yet the crew moved with calculated efficiency, understanding that history depended on their ability to remain unseen. How one vessel could carry the weight of the fleet's strategic advantage beneath the waves exemplified courage, ingenuity, and the fragile balance between life and mission. Never expected by enemy intelligence, this submarine had embarked on a path that would test every human, technological, and strategic resource at their disposal. Rejected ideas faded into memory as the crew focused on the mission's imperatives, embracing the challenge as a testament to skill, bravery, and resolve. Secret operation protocols guided every action, from depth adjustments to silent communication, maintaining the integrity of the codes. Shocking truth revealed in each sonar echo, each distant engine hum, reminded them that the Atlantic held both concealment and threat, and that every decision could have monumental consequences. The forbidden plan, once theoretical, was now enacted in reality, demanding coordination, courage, and the full mastery of the submarine's capabilities. How one journey could alter the course of a fleet, preserve vital intelligence, and define the bravery of men under unimaginable pressure was unfolding beneath the Atlantic's unforgiving waves. Never expected, every mile traversed brought new peril, yet also demonstrated the power of preparation, training, and unyielding determination. Rejected ideas of inaction, hesitation, or caution were replaced by decisive maneuvers, strategic precision, and absolute focus on the impossible mission. Secret operation completed successfully in imagination only until now, but reality pressed every man into relentless action. Shocking truth revealed with each challenge, each near detection, and each silent victory marked the crew's endurance, skill, and courage. The Atlantic, vast and indifferent, concealed their passage, while constantly testing their resolve, shaping history through the courage and precision of those aboard. As the submarine descended deeper into the Atlantic, the reality of the forbidden plan became palpable. How one wrong move could compromise the entire mission weighed heavily on the captain and crew. Never expected were the forces of nature and enemy intelligence to conspire simultaneously, turning every decision into a life-or-death calculation. Rejected ideas about conventional routes or slower approaches had been dismissed in favor of audacious stealth maneuvers, making this truly an impossible mission. Secret operation protocols dictated silence, precision, and unwavering focus, and each crew member understood that the fleet's codes were the heart of their undertaking. Shocking truth revealed itself in the subtle vibrations of the hull and the sonar echoes bouncing through the waters, each a reminder of hidden threats and the high stakes involved. How one misjudged current or an unnoticed sonar pulse could spell disaster was constantly at the forefront of every decision. Never expected were the psychological pressures and isolation that would test their resolve, as hours stretched into a tense continuum of vigilance and anticipation. Rejected ideas about automated routines or shortcuts were abandoned, leaving only the meticulous execution of the forbidden plan as their guide. Every action, from adjusting depth to recalibrating instruments, was governed by the secret operation's stringent rules, ensuring the codes remained uncompromised. Shocking truth revealed in the early hours had already demonstrated that even the smallest oversight could have monumental consequences, reinforcing discipline and focus among the crew. How one vessel, its hull cutting silently through the waves, could carry the strategic lifeblood of the fleet remained astonishing, a testament to human courage and ingenuity. Never expected were the tests of endurance, coordination, and mental fortitude that would accompany this journey, each crew member silently confronting both fear and responsibility. Rejected ideas about retreating or pausing had been dismissed outright. The mission demanded relentless progress and precision. The forbidden plan required navigating minefields, evading enemy destroyers, and threading through unpredictable currents, each obstacle amplifying the impossible nature of the operation. Secret operation success depended on every individual performing flawlessly, anticipating threats, and responding with seamless coordination, for even one lapse could unravel weeks of planning. Shocking truth revealed with each passing hour. The codes were not merely documents. They represented control over fleets, battles, and the unfolding course of war, and their protection was paramount. How one crew's discipline and bravery could tip the balance in a strategic theater became increasingly evident as the submarine maneuvered with calculated risk and careful execution. Never expected were the external and internal challenges, compounded by the relentless pressure of secrecy, isolation, and high stakes. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics had given way to innovative navigation, silent communication, and precise operational adjustments, illustrating that audacity was as vital as training. The forbidden plan, though fraught with danger, exemplified strategic ingenuity, courage, and the human capacity to act decisively under pressure. Secret operation procedures were implemented rigorously, each action reflecting hours of preparation, practice, and foresight, maintaining the integrity of the fleet's intelligence. Shocking truth revealed in the form of near detections, mechanical strain, and environmental obstacles, tested nerve, endurance, and coordination continuously. How one mission, executed with discipline and resolve, could shape the outcome of entire theaters of war, highlighted the intersection of human skill, technology, and strategic planning. Never expected were the moments of acute tension, split-second decisions, and silent victories that defined the first hours of this daring voyage. Rejected ideas faded into irrelevance as the crew focused solely on the forbidden plan, executing it flawlessly under the watchful eyes of history itself. Each maneuver, adjustment, and calculated risk reinforced the secret operations' objectives, ensuring that the codes remained secure, the mission remained on track, and the legacy of this impossible mission endured. Shocking truth revealed as the submarine glided deeper, shadows and sonar signals dancing across the hull, reminding all aboard that the Atlantic was both ally and adversary, a theater for courage, precision, and unwavering commitment. How one vessel's journey could carry the weight of strategy, secrecy, and survival beneath the indifferent waves exemplified the stakes and heroism inherent in wartime naval operations. Never expected were the exact circumstances, the perfect storm of hazards and opportunity that would define this mission, yet each crew member rose to meet the challenge. Rejected ideas, doubts, and hesitations were replaced with decisive action, teamwork, and adherence to the forbidden plan, executing an impossible mission with precision, courage, and skill. Secret operation completed successfully in imagination only until now, but reality demanded flawless execution, each second a measure of human endurance and strategic mastery. Shocking truth revealed that survival, success, and history itself depended on the crew's ability to navigate the Atlantic's deadly expanse while safeguarding the fleet's most critical intelligence. How one submarine, its crew, and the codes it carried could influence entire battles and fleets underscored the remarkable audacity, preparation, and courage of men in the shadows of war. Never expected by anyone outside their command, this mission embodied the convergence of risk, skill, and historical consequence, a testament to human determination under extreme pressure. Rejected ideas and theoretical plans were tested and proven inadequate, leaving only the execution of the forbidden plan as the path to mission success, a journey through peril, secrecy, and suspense beneath the Atlantic waves. In 1942, the Atlantic was more than a vast expanse of water. It was a corridor of life and death, where every wave, current, and shadow could reveal the forbidden plan hidden beneath the surface. How one submarine, carrying the fleet's most critical codes, maneuvered through this perilous theater was a secret operation that demanded absolute precision. Never expected were the challenges that lay ahead. Unpredictable storms, shifting currents, and the constant presence of enemy destroyers patrolling tirelessly. Rejected ideas about conventional routes had been dismissed in favor of stealth, daring, and meticulous planning, transforming an ordinary voyage into an impossible mission. Shocking truth revealed itself early, when minor mechanical anomalies, the kind often overlooked in training, tested the crew's ability to respond under pressure while keeping the codes secure. How one miscalculation in ballast, heading, or speed could trigger disaster became a lesson every officer internalized within minutes of departure. Secret operations of this scale were rare, and the responsibility weighed heavily on the captain, the officers, and every crew member. Never expected were the psychological pressures of isolation, monotony, and unyielding vigilance, compounded by the knowledge that the codes were the key to naval strategy and fleet survival. Rejected ideas regarding shortcuts or automation were set aside. Human skill, coordination, and constant attention would determine success. The Atlantic, indifferent and relentless, provided cover for the submarine while simultaneously testing the crew's endurance, judgment, and nerve. The forbidden plan dictated that every maneuver, every depth adjustment, and every communication had to be executed flawlessly, for the enemy's sensors were always hunting, always listening, and any error could be catastrophic. How one vessel, small yet pivotal, could carry the weight of strategic intelligence became evident as the submarine progressed, threading through minefields and evading sonar sweeps that could detect even the faintest sound. Shocking truth revealed itself in the constant tension aboard. The hum of engines, the creak of the hull, and the subtle movements of the crew all blended into a rhythm of survival and precision. Never expected were the demands of balancing human endurance, mechanical reliability, and operational secrecy under conditions that strained the limits of each man aboard. Rejected ideas about waiting for calmer seas or avoiding enemy lanes were overruled by the necessity of action. Delay could compromise the entire mission. Secret operation protocols dictated silence, rotation schedules, and meticulous maintenance, ensuring that the submarine remained undetectable while the codes stayed protected. How one moment of inattention could lead to discovery became a constant reminder, instilling discipline, focus, and a quiet tension that persisted in every corner of the vessel. The Forbidden Plan was no abstract strategy. It was a tangible, living operation, enacted in real time beneath the indifferent Atlantic, where the consequences of success or failure were immediate and absolute. Never expected were the complex calculations required for navigation, factoring in currents, tides, sonar interference, and enemy patterns, demanding that the captain and officers operate with perfect coordination and judgment. Rejected ideas about relying solely on instruments without human oversight had been discarded. The impossible mission required both precision technology and the intuition of seasoned sailors. Shocking truth revealed itself with every sonar ping, every subtle wave movement, and every distant mechanical hum that signaled potential detection, reminding the crew that vigilance could never lapse. How one team could operate seamlessly in silence, maintaining morale, focus, and discipline, became the defining factor between mission success and catastrophic failure. Secret operations required not only technical skill, but psychological resilience. And the men aboard the submarine had been trained to endure stress, monotony, and isolation, transforming fear into deliberate action. Never expected were the Atlantic's challenges in their full intensity. Storms that rocked the vessel, currents that shifted unpredictably, and the constant threat of enemy observation. Rejected ideas about traditional convoy routes or slower navigation gave way to the daring strategy that formed the core of the Forbidden Plan. Shocking truth revealed that the codes were more than documents. They were lifelines to operational strategy, fleet safety, and the unfolding course of the war demanding protection at all costs. How one submarine, under the veil of secrecy and the constant watch of its crew, could navigate this deadly expanse, maintain operational integrity, and preserve history, was a story few would ever fully comprehend. Never expected were the cumulative pressures, split-second decisions, and sustained focus required to execute the mission flawlessly, and every crew member rose to the challenge with unbroken dedication. Rejected ideas faded into memory as the vessel pressed onward, silent and unseen, executing a secret operation whose significance would resonate across the Atlantic and beyond. The Forbidden Plan, alive and relentless, required that the crew merge skill, courage, and discipline, transforming ordinary men into guardians of intelligence, operatives of history, and actors in a story defined by suspense, danger, and unwavering resolve. The submarine pressed onward, deeper into the Atlantic, carrying the fleet's codes and the weight of the Forbidden Plan with unwavering resolve. How one vessel, small yet critical, could operate undetected in such hostile waters was the essence of this secret operation. Never expected were the obstacles that emerged: shifting currents, unpredictable weather, and the ever-present hum of enemy destroyers scanning the depths. Rejected ideas about conventional navigation had been abandoned, replaced by daring maneuvers, calculated risks, and a reliance on skill, discipline, and intuition. The impossible mission demanded absolute precision, and the crew knew that even the smallest error could compromise the codes, the mission, and countless lives. Shocking truth revealed itself with every sonar ping, every creak of the hull, and every shadow moving across the sonar screen, reminding the men aboard that the Atlantic was both ally and adversary. How one misjudged depth or an unnoticed current could trigger detection was a lesson embedded in every calculation and maneuver. Never expected were the physical and psychological pressures of isolation, monotony, and relentless vigilance, as each crew member confronted the dual reality of danger and responsibility. Rejected ideas about taking breaks, Reducing focus or relying solely on instruments had been dismissed. Human skill, coordination, and constant awareness were indispensable. Secret operation protocols required silence, rotation schedules, and meticulous maintenance to ensure that the submarine remained undetected and the codes secure. How one team's seamless coordination could sustain the mission became evident as the men moved with precision, anticipating each other's actions and responding instinctively to environmental cues. The Forbidden Plan demanded that every action, from ballast adjustments to silent communications, be executed flawlessly, leaving no room for hesitation or error. Never expected were the complexities of navigating minefields, evading enemy sonar, and threading between patrolling destroyers, all while maintaining the vessel's operational integrity and the security of the codes. Rejected ideas about conventional fleet support or retracing safer routes underscored the audacity of the mission, reinforcing the importance of adherence to the Forbidden Plan. Shocking truth revealed the high stakes. These codes were not merely documents, but vital intelligence capable of shaping naval strategy, protecting fleets, and altering the course of battles. How one submarine operating under absolute secrecy could carry such influence was both daunting and awe-inspiring. Never expected were the cumulative pressures, split-second decisions, and constant coordination required to maintain stealth, avoid detection, and ensure mission success. Rejected ideas faded as the crew adapted to the challenges, executing each maneuver with precision, confidence, and unwavering focus. Secret operation success depended on the seamless interplay of human skill, mechanical reliability, and strategic calculation, with each crew member performing as an integral part of the mission's lifeblood. How one small error could cascade into disaster emphasized the gravity of every choice, reinforcing discipline, vigilance, and cohesion. Never expected were the environmental hazards, currents, waves, and storms that demanded immediate response, adaptability, and precise execution under intense pressure. The Forbidden Plan, though audacious and fraught with danger, was meticulously designed to leverage both human ingenuity and technological capability, creating a pathway through peril that only the most skilled and disciplined crew could navigate. Shocking truth revealed in the early hours had demonstrated that survival, mission success, and the integrity of intelligence were inseparable, hinging on flawless execution and the ability to respond to unforeseen threats. How one submarine, its crew, and its critical cargo could operate undetected while influencing the outcome of naval engagements exemplified the intersection of courage, strategy, and history. Never expected were the continuous demands of the mission, stretching the crew's endurance, attention, and resolve to their limits, yet each man rose to the challenge with discipline, skill, and unwavering commitment. Rejected ideas of hesitation or conventional caution were replaced with decisiveness, teamwork, and an adherence to the Forbidden Plan that left no margin for error. Secret operation procedures guided every aspect of life aboard the vessel, ensuring that the impossible mission remained feasible despite the hostile, unpredictable Atlantic environment. How one cohesive crew could navigate such a deadly expanse, maintain operational secrecy, and preserve the fleet's strategic advantage underscored the extraordinary blend of courage, intelligence, and endurance required. Never expected were the simultaneous pressures of mechanical reliability, environmental hazards, and enemy threat, yet the men remained vigilant, disciplined, and focused. Rejected ideas of alternative routes, slower progress, or external support had been dismissed. The Forbidden Plan demanded audacity, precision, and unbroken resolve. Shocking truth revealed with every maneuver, every silent command, and every near-miss reinforced the high stakes, the historical significance, and the human courage defining this secret operation. How one submarine, its crew, and the codes it carried could alter the course of naval strategy highlighted the audacity, preparation, and heroism that underpinned the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic waves. The Atlantic, vast and indifferent, tested the submarine and its crew relentlessly, making every second of the Forbidden Plan a trial of courage, skill, and endurance. How one minor miscalculation could compromise the fleet's codes became increasingly clear as sonar echoes hinted at enemy patrols nearby. Never expected were the hazards that arose simultaneously, shifting currents, approaching destroyers, and the relentless mechanical strain on the vessel itself. Rejected ideas about conventional maneuvers had been set aside. The impossible mission required audacity, precision, and flawless coordination. Secret operation protocols dictated silence, exact timing, and meticulous attention to every instrument, every gauge, and every subtle vibration. Shocking truth revealed itself in sudden alarms, the creak of the hull, and fleeting sonar signals that could either be innocuous or signals of imminent danger. How one split-second decision could avert disaster or trigger catastrophe weighed heavily on the captain, who understood that the codes represented far more than documents. They were the lifeblood of naval strategy. Never expected were the psychological pressures of isolation, fatigue, and the constant awareness of hidden enemy forces, all converging to test the crew's endurance. Rejected ideas of reducing vigilance or relying solely on automated navigation had been abandoned. Human skill, experience, and coordination were indispensable. The Forbidden Plan demanded that each crew member operate with perfect discipline, balancing fear, uncertainty, and responsibility with calm execution. Secret operation procedures required that even minor maintenance, ballast adjustments, and silent communications be executed flawlessly, as one lapse could alert enemy sensors to their presence. How one unnoticed sonar ping, misread instrument, or delayed action could cascade into disaster was a lesson learned quickly through rigorous training and repeated drills. Never expected were the cumulative physical and mental strains, forcing the crew to operate at peak performance while maintaining secrecy, speed, and maneuverability. Rejected ideas about waiting for clearer conditions were dismissed. Progress had to be continuous, precise, and untraceable. Shocking truth revealed itself when near detections occurred, requiring split-second maneuvers to evade destroyers, illustrating that the impossible mission demanded more than planning. It required instinct, courage, and resilience. How one submarine, operating silently beneath the waves, could evade the enemy while safeguarding critical codes highlighted the delicate balance between human skill and the dangers of war. Never expected were the challenges of coordinating machinery, crew rotations, and navigation under extreme conditions, where fatigue and pressure threatened to erode precision. Rejected ideas of slowing the journey or taking safer paths had been discarded, leaving only the audacious course dictated by the Forbidden Plan. Secret operation success depended on flawless execution, seamless communication, and anticipation of enemy behavior, ensuring that every action contributed to mission integrity. How one crew could perform as a single unit, maintaining focus, morale, and efficiency, despite constant threats, defined the difference between mission success and catastrophe. Never expected were the psychological games imposed by the Atlantic itself. Waves, currents, and the silence of isolation pressing on nerves, amplifying fear and testing resolve. Rejected ideas of hesitation or deviation from the plan had no place. The code's safety demanded total commitment. Shocking truth revealed in every sonar blip, engine vibration, and distant signal emphasized the high stakes, the historical weight, and the perilous nature of the mission. How one calculated maneuver could simultaneously evade detection, maintain course, and protect intelligence underscored the extraordinary complexity of the operation. Never expected were the compounding dangers of human error, mechanical failure, and environmental unpredictability, all threatening to compromise the Forbidden Plan. Rejected ideas about external rescue or fallback options were impractical. Secrecy and autonomy were paramount. Secret operation discipline ensured that every man, instrument, and protocol functioned in harmony, sustaining the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic's indifferent surface. How one team, working in silence, could preserve the codes while confronting unrelenting peril was a testament to training, courage, and strategic foresight. Never expected were the moments of near disaster, split-second improvisation, and tension-filled maneuvers that defined each hour, keeping the crew on constant alert. Rejected ideas faded, as only execution of the Forbidden Plan mattered, demonstrating that skill, courage, and teamwork could overcome the Atlantic's deadly challenges. Shocking truth revealed that mission success depended as much on psychological resilience and discipline as on mechanical precision and navigation. How one vessel, carrying critical intelligence, could navigate a theater of war with stealth and strategic impact, illustrated the stakes, audacity and heroism inherent in the impossible mission beneath the waves. Tension escalated as the submarine threaded deeper into hostile waters, each moment intensifying the stakes of the forbidden plan. How one misjudged maneuver could expose the fleet's codes became increasingly clear with every sonar ping and distant engine hum. Never expected were the converging threats: enemy destroyers adjusting patrols, unpredictable currents and sudden mechanical strain on critical systems. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics had been abandoned. The impossible mission demanded audacity, precision and unwavering discipline. Secret operation protocols dictated complete silence, exact coordination, and meticulous monitoring of every instrument and every crew action. Shocking truth revealed itself when minor anomalies in machinery and ballast adjustments threatened to compromise stealth, forcing split-second corrections under immense pressure. How one lapse, one delayed reaction, or one misread signal could result in detection weighed heavily on the captain and officers who bore the responsibility of both the mission and their crew's lives. Never expected were the physical and mental demands of prolonged vigilance, isolation, and relentless uncertainty, yet the men maintained focus, endurance, and precision, executing the forbidden plan flawlessly. Rejected ideas about relying solely on automated navigation or reducing attention had been discarded. Human skill and intuition remained essential. The Atlantic's indifferent expanse both concealed and challenged them, testing every calculation, maneuver, and adjustment required to protect the codes. How one small vessel, navigating unseen beneath the waves, could maintain operational integrity while avoiding the enemy illustrated the delicate balance of strategy, courage, and endurance. Never expected were the cumulative pressures that compounded fatigue, tension, and environmental hazards, pushing the crew to the limits of resilience and discipline. Rejected ideas about altering course or slowing progress were impractical. The mission demanded exact execution of the forbidden plan. Secret operation success relied on seamless coordination, precise communication, and anticipation of threats, ensuring that every movement contributed to safeguarding the codes. How one split-second decision could avert disaster or exploit an enemy oversight became an ongoing lesson in survival, skill, and historical responsibility. Never expected were the psychological stresses imposed by isolation, the hum of machinery, and the silence of the deep, challenging every man aboard to remain vigilant and composed. Rejected ideas about hesitation or inaction had no place. The impossible mission required unbroken attention and flawless execution. Shocking truth revealed itself as near detections forced the crew to execute maneuvers with surgical precision, demonstrating the tension, risk, and skill embedded in every action. How one carefully timed maneuver could simultaneously evade detection, maintain course, and preserve the integrity of intelligence underscored the extraordinary complexity and danger of the operation. Never expected were the environmental challenges, storms, currents, and acoustic anomalies that threatened both stealth and stability, requiring constant adaptation and vigilance. Rejected ideas of fallback or alternate routes highlighted the audacity of the forbidden plan, emphasizing the reliance on training, discipline, and the crew's cohesion. Secret operation discipline ensured that every man, instrument, and protocol functioned in harmony, sustaining the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic's unforgiving surface. How one team, operating with precision, coordination, and courage, could preserve critical intelligence while facing relentless danger exemplified the heroism and skill necessary for success. Never expected were the cumulative effects of stress, fatigue, and continuous high-stakes decision-making, yet each crew member maintained focus and composure, executing the plan with flawless dedication. Rejected ideas faded as the execution of the forbidden plan became the singular priority, uniting human skill, technological proficiency, and strategic calculation. Shocking truth revealed itself in every near detection, every subtle movement of the hull, and every sonar echo, reinforcing the high stakes, historical significance, and tension of the secret operation. How one submarine, its crew, and the codes it carried could influence entire fleets, protect strategic advantage, and survive the Atlantic's perilous expanse highlighted the audacity, courage, and meticulous preparation required for the impossible mission. Never expected were the simultaneous challenges of environment, enemy action, and mechanical reliability, yet discipline, teamwork, and precise execution ensured the mission's continuity. Rejected ideas, doubts, and theoretical alternatives were replaced with decisive action, coordination, and adherence to the forbidden plan, executing a secret operation that would resonate in history. The moment of truth had arrived as the submarine approached the most treacherous sector of the Atlantic, the heart of enemy patrols and hidden minefields where the forbidden plan would be tested to its limits. How one misjudged course or delayed maneuver could compromise the fleet's codes, and the lives of the crew became painfully evident as sonar blips signaled the proximity of destroyers. Never expected were the intensity and precision required to navigate these waters, where every decision carried monumental consequences. Rejected ideas about taking conventional routes or slowing to reduce risk were discarded. The impossible mission demanded speed, stealth, and flawless execution. Secret operation protocols dictated silence, perfect coordination, and meticulous monitoring of all instruments and environmental conditions, leaving no margin for error. Shocking truth revealed itself as distant sonar echoes grew louder, the enemy drawing nearer, forcing the captain to make split-second decisions that could determine success or catastrophe. How one calculated dive, one exact adjustment of ballast, or one precise turn could evade detection became a tangible, high-stakes reality for the entire crew. Never expected were the cumulative pressures, fatigue, fear, environmental hazards, and the relentless presence of enemy patrols tested every skill and nerve aboard the vessel. Rejected ideas about relying on instruments alone were abandoned. Human judgment, training, and instinct became the guiding force behind every maneuver. The forbidden plan demanded that the submarine thread a narrow path between minefields and enemy sensors, exploiting gaps in patrol patterns and acoustic blind spots with audacious precision. Secret operation success depended on flawless teamwork, anticipatory thinking, and absolute discipline, ensuring that each action contributed to safeguarding the codes. How one crew's synchronization, trust, and decisiveness could prevent catastrophe was evident in the precise execution of ballast adjustments, course changes, and silent communications. Never expected were the environmental variables, sudden currents, shifting thermoclines, and acoustic anomalies that threatened stealth and stability simultaneously. Rejected ideas of hesitation, improvisation without calculation, or deviation from protocol were irrelevant. The forbidden plan demanded adherence to every calculated step. Shocking truth revealed itself with every pulse of the sonar, each subtle vibration of the hull, and every motion in the depths, emphasizing the precarious balance between success and disaster. How one small vessel, operating unseen beneath the waves, could influence the outcome of naval engagements underscored the magnitude of the mission and the extraordinary skill of the crew. Never expected were the rapid sequences of decisions, each demanding courage, intuition, and precision under the ever-present weight of secrecy and danger. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics or standard evasive maneuvers were replaced by innovative, audacious strategies reflecting the essence of the forbidden plan. Secret operation discipline governed every action, from silent communication to careful depth management, ensuring the submarine remained undetected while preserving the integrity of the fleet's codes. How one perfectly timed maneuver could simultaneously evade enemy detection, maintain mission course, and protect critical intelligence became a testament to the crew's training, courage, and focus. Never expected were the split-second adjustments, rapid calculations, and near improvisational responses that defined this segment of the voyage, demonstrating the intersection of skill, strategy, and human endurance. Rejected ideas about relying on luck or chance had no place. The impossible mission depended solely on preparation, discipline, and flawless execution. Shocking truth revealed in the creak of the hull, the hum of engines, and the shifting sonar readings reinforced the danger, suspense, and historical importance of the secret operation. How one vessel, its crew, and the codes it carried could navigate this gauntlet under extreme conditions highlighted the audacity, precision, and heroism required. Never expected were the mental, physical, and emotional pressures, yet every man aboard responded with focus, cohesion, and determination, executing the forbidden plan as meticulously as trained warriors performing a high-stakes ballet beneath the waves. Rejected ideas, doubts, and hesitation were replaced with unbroken concentration, teamwork, and trust in both human skill and mechanical precision. Secret operation success relied on the seamless integration of preparation, courage, and situational awareness, maintaining stealth, protecting the codes, and executing the impossible mission flawlessly. How one daring course, calculated decision, and perfect maneuver could dictate the outcome of this critical phase became the living proof of the crew's heroism and discipline. Never expected were the extremes of tension, coordination, and vigilance that would mark this chapter of the mission, challenging every skill, nerve, and resolve in pursuit of success. The submarine advanced into the deadliest sector of the Atlantic, where every current, shadow, and sonar pulse threatened to expose the fleet's codes and unravel the forbidden plan. How one miscalculated turn or delayed response could end the impossible mission weighed on every officer, sailor, and crew member, as tension thickened in the narrow corridors of the vessel. Never expected were the compounded dangers, enemy destroyers adjusting their sweeps, minefields lying hidden in the dark waters, and sudden mechanical anomalies testing the limits of human skill and endurance. Rejected ideas about slower progress or retracing safer routes were dismissed. Audacity, precision, and flawless execution were the only means of survival. Secret operation protocols demanded silence, meticulous coordination, and constant monitoring of every gauge, instrument, and environmental factor, leaving no room for error. Shocking truth revealed itself in every subtle vibration, sonar echo, and creaking bulkhead, a reminder that discovery could happen in a heartbeat. How one perfectly timed maneuver, one precise depth adjustment, or one synchronized team action could avert disaster became the tangible reality of the mission, emphasizing both the skill and bravery of the crew. Never expected were the relentless, psychological pressures of isolation, constant vigilance, and the awareness that a single mistake could compromise not just the mission, but entire naval operations. Rejected ideas of reliance on automation or shortcuts were abandoned. Human judgment, training, and instinct were indispensable in navigating the Atlantic's deadly expanse. The forbidden plan required threading through tight channels, evading sonar sweeps, and anticipating enemy actions with audacious precision, leaving no room for error or hesitation. Secret operation success depended on seamless teamwork, anticipatory thinking, and absolute discipline, ensuring that every action, no matter how small, contributed to the integrity of the codes. How one split-second decision could simultaneously maintain stealth, correct course, and preserve intelligence underscored the extraordinary complexity of the mission. Never expected were the environmental hazards, thermoclines, shifting currents, and acoustic anomalies that complicated navigation while threatening to reveal their presence. Rejected ideas about deviation or improvisation were impractical. Adherence to the forbidden plan was mandatory for mission success. Shocking truth revealed itself with every passing hour as the crew executed high-stakes maneuvers, avoided detection, and maintained operational control under relentless pressure. How one small vessel, carrying the weight of critical intelligence, could navigate a gauntlet of peril with skill, courage, and precision, highlighted the remarkable human and technological achievement underway. Never expected were the cumulative effects of fatigue, mental strain, and continuous decision-making under threat, yet the crew maintained focus, coordination, and unwavering resolve. Rejected ideas of hesitation, risk aversion, or deviation faded as the forbidden plan guided each action with unerring logic and audacity. Secret operation procedures ensured that all crew movements, instrument adjustments, and tactical maneuvers were executed flawlessly, preserving the codes and sustaining the impossible mission. How one daring strategy, meticulously executed, could evade the most sophisticated enemy patrols illustrated the ingenuity, bravery, and historical significance of the operation. Never expected were the moments of near catastrophe, where split-second improvisation, calm under pressure, and perfect timing became the difference between survival and disaster. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics or standard evasive maneuvers gave way to innovative solutions, reflecting the essence of the forbidden plan and the discipline of the crew. Shocking truth revealed itself in every heartbeat, every sonar ping, and every subtle movement beneath the waves, underscoring the stakes, suspense, and heroism embedded in the secret operation. How one vessel and its crew, acting in complete harmony, could protect strategic intelligence, influence fleet movements, and survive the Atlantic's deadliest zones became a testament to courage, skill, and determination. Never expected were the extreme pressures, rapid decisions, and unbroken vigilance required to maintain stealth, execute the mission, and safeguard the codes. Rejected ideas, doubts, and hesitation were replaced with unwavering focus, teamwork, and mastery of both technology and human skill. Secret operation success relied on every individual performing flawlessly, anticipating threats, and executing the forbidden plan with precision, courage, and discipline. How one submarine, its crew, and the critical codes it carried could shape the course of naval engagements highlighted the audacity, preparation, and heroism that defined the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic waves. The submarine emerged from the deadliest sector of the Atlantic, battered by storms and tested by enemy patrols. Yet the forbidden plan had survived its first true trial. How one crew's skill, discipline, and courage could preserve the fleet's codes despite overwhelming odds was now undeniable, a testament to human resolve under pressure. Never expected were the precise calculations, split-second decisions, and unwavering teamwork required to maintain secrecy, navigate peril, and protect vital intelligence. Rejected ideas about retreat or conventional paths were discarded in favor of audacity, precision, and flawless execution, transforming an impossible mission into a living reality. Secret operation protocols had been followed to the letter, each action, maneuver, and adjustment contributing to the preservation of the codes and the safety of the crew. Shocking truth revealed itself in the subtle realization that the Atlantic, indifferent and unforgiving, had tested them to their limits. Yet their preparation, courage, and coordination had prevailed. How one decision after another, executed with meticulous precision, could turn near disasters into successful navigation underscored the extraordinary skill and bravery of the submarine's crew. Never expected were the compounding hazards, environmental challenges, and psychological strain that accompanied the journey. Yet the men had risen to each challenge with resilience and focus. Rejected ideas about relying solely on mechanical systems or conventional strategies had proven inadequate, leaving human judgment, experience, and instinct as the ultimate safeguards. The forbidden plan, once theoretical, had now proven viable under extreme conditions, demonstrating that audacity and disciplined execution could overcome even the deadliest threats. Secret operation success depended on unbroken coordination, anticipation of threats, and flawless execution, ensuring that every maneuver contributed to mission integrity. How one small vessel, carrying the most critical intelligence of an entire fleet, could survive, navigate, and evade detection highlighted the extraordinary convergence of strategy, courage, and human skill. Never expected were the subtle, almost imperceptible dangers that could have compromised the mission. Shifting currents, sonar reflections, and minute mechanical failures, all of which were met with immediate, calculated responses. Rejected ideas about slowing progress or choosing safer routes had no place. The mission demanded relentless focus, exact execution, and adherence to the forbidden plan. Shocking truth revealed itself in every heartbeat of the crew, in the careful monitoring of gauges, and in the silent coordination of actions that had turned a nearly impossible mission into a triumph of skill and bravery. How one series of calculated maneuvers could preserve vital codes, ensure strategic advantage, and demonstrate the efficacy of secret operations underscored the significance of every action taken beneath the waves. Never expected were the cumulative psychological and physical pressures, yet each man aboard the submarine maintained focus, discipline, and courage, executing the mission flawlessly. Rejected ideas faded as only adherence to the forbidden plan mattered, ensuring that the fleet's strategic intelligence remained secure and history was preserved. Secret operation protocols had guided every choice, from navigation to silent communication, from ballast adjustments to coordination during near detections, culminating in the preservation of the codes and the safety of the vessel. How one vessel, its crew and its cargo could influence entire naval operations became clear as the submarine completed its first critical leg, unseen and unscathed. Never expected were the extraordinary levels of precision, courage and teamwork required to navigate the Atlantic while protecting intelligence of immense strategic value. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics, standard procedures or reliance on chance were rendered irrelevant as human skill, discipline and audacity carried the mission forward. Shocking truth revealed in each calculated move, each silent adjustment, and each successful evasion reinforced the stakes, historical importance, and heroism inherent in the forbidden plan. How one impossible mission, executed with perfect coordination and bravery, could preserve the integrity of naval strategy highlighted the audacity, preparation, and resilience of those aboard. Never expected were the final moments of tension when environmental hazards, enemy detection, and mechanical unpredictability converged, yet the crew's discipline and execution remained flawless. Rejected ideas of hesitation, deviation, or conventional caution were replaced by decisive action, synchronized teamwork, and unwavering commitment to the mission's objectives. Secret operation protocols had ensured that every move, every decision, and every adjustment contributed directly to success, safeguarding both lives and the fleet's most critical intelligence. How one crew, performing with precision, courage, and focus, could triumph over overwhelming odds exemplified the heroism, skill, and historical significance of the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic waves. As the submarine continued through the Atlantic, the weight of the forbidden plan remained palpable, yet the crew's precision and discipline had preserved the fleet's codes against all odds. How one vessel, small but critical, could navigate such a perilous theater undetected underscored the skill, courage, and coordination of every man aboard. Never expected were the ongoing environmental hazards, from sudden storms to unpredictable currents, all threatening stealth and the mission's integrity, yet the crew adapted with unwavering focus. Rejected ideas about conventional routes, slower progress, or relying on luck had no place. The impossible mission demanded audacity, exact execution, and flawless adherence to secret operation protocols. Shocking truth revealed itself as every maneuver, ballast adjustment, and silent communication contributed directly to safeguarding the codes, demonstrating the cumulative effect of discipline, skill, and coordination. How one split-second decision, made under extreme pressure, could avert detection, maintain course, and preserve intelligence highlighted the extraordinary responsibility carried by the crew. Never expected were the mental and physical strain, continuous vigilance, and constant adaptation to unforeseen threats, yet each member rose to the challenge with unwavering courage. Rejected ideas of hesitation or improvisation without calculation were replaced with precision, anticipation, and flawless execution, proving the forbidden plan viable under extreme conditions. Secret operation procedures dictated that every instrument, gauge, and action be monitored and executed with exactitude, ensuring that the codes remained secure and the mission stayed on track. How one small submarine, threading through minefields and enemy patrols, could influence the course of naval engagements demonstrated the historical significance of the operation and the human skill required to achieve it. Never expected were the relentless tests of endurance, coordination, and composure that demanded peak performance under continuous pressure, yet the crew maintained cohesion, discipline, and focus. Rejected ideas about conventional evasion, slower navigation, or deviation from the plan were abandoned. Audacity, skill, and adherence to the forbidden plan defined every decision. Shocking truth revealed itself in each successful evasion, every precise maneuver, and every moment of coordinated action, reinforcing the suspense, stakes, and heroism of the mission. How one vessel, operating in absolute secrecy, could preserve critical intelligence, while navigating a gauntlet of environmental and enemy threats, became a living testament to training, courage, and strategic foresight. Never expected were the convergence of mechanical strain, psychological pressure, and environmental unpredictability. Yet the crew adapted seamlessly, performing as a singular, cohesive unit. Rejected ideas faded, as human skill, preparation, and disciplined execution proved the only path to success, illustrating the essence of the forbidden plan. Secret operation success relied on anticipation, flawless coordination, and decisive action, ensuring that every decision, maneuver, and adjustment contributed to safeguarding the fleet's most vital codes. How one impossible mission, executed beneath the Atlantic with precision and bravery, could preserve strategic advantage and influence naval operations, highlighted the audacity, preparation, and heroism of the crew. Never expected were the final tests of endurance, skill, and composure, moments when the slightest misstep could unravel weeks of planning, yet the men executed flawlessly under extreme conditions. Rejected ideas about conventional strategies, safety, or reliance on chance had been rendered irrelevant. The mission demanded perfect adherence to the forbidden plan. Shocking truth revealed itself in the seamless navigation, silent communication, and coordinated responses to environmental hazards and enemy activity, demonstrating the extraordinary complexity and success of the operation. How one crew, performing in perfect harmony, could protect the fleet's codes, preserve lives, and influence the broader course of war exemplified courage, discipline, and historical significance. Never expected were the sustained psychological, physical, and operational pressures, yet the crew's focus, skill, and precision never faltered, ensuring the forbidden plan reached fruition. Rejected ideas of hesitation, doubt, or deviation from protocol were replaced with decisive action, synchronized teamwork, and unwavering commitment to success. Secret operation discipline had ensured that every maneuver, adjustment, and decision contributed directly to safeguarding the codes and maintaining mission integrity. How one small vessel, under the most extreme circumstances, could succeed where failure seemed inevitable, highlighted the audacity, skill, and heroism that defined the impossible mission beneath the Atlantic waves. Never expected were the cumulative dangers, the relentless pressure, and the historical responsibility, yet the crew triumphed through focus, precision, and unwavering resolve. As the submarine finally navigated past the most perilous stretches of the Atlantic, the weight of the forbidden plan began to shift from tension to reflection, revealing the extraordinary impact of one small vessel on the broader course of the war. How one crew, operating in silence and under extreme pressure, had safeguarded the fleet's codes demonstrated the remarkable interplay of courage, skill, and disciplined execution. Never expected were the consequences of their actions, for the codes they protected held the power to influence entire naval operations, save lives, and alter history in ways unseen by the wider world. Rejected ideas of hesitation, deviation, or reliance on conventional strategies had been discarded long ago, replaced by audacity, precision, and flawless adherence to secret operation protocols. Shocking truth revealed itself in the realization that the mission's success rested not only on mechanical proficiency or navigation skills, but on the courage, focus, and cohesion of every individual aboard the submarine. How one decision, executed with split-second timing, could preserve strategic intelligence while avoiding detection underscored the historical significance of their daring operation. Never expected were the prolonged psychological pressures of isolation, relentless vigilance, and the constant awareness that any error could compromise the forbidden plan, yet the crew had endured with unwavering discipline. Rejected ideas about shortcuts or reliance on luck were replaced by training, coordination, and precise execution, demonstrating the human capacity to achieve the impossible. Secret operation procedures had guided each action, from ballast adjustments to silent communications, ensuring that every maneuver contributed to success and every threat was anticipated and countered. How one small submarine could influence fleet strategy, protect critical intelligence, and navigate the Atlantic's dangers became a testament to audacity, preparation, and the discipline of the men aboard. Never expected were the subtle environmental challenges, currents, thermoclines, and acoustic anomalies that continually threatened stealth, yet every obstacle had been met with skillful adaptation and calm resolve. Rejected ideas about conventional tactics or retracing safer paths faded, as the crew's collective courage and precision carried the mission forward. Shocking truth revealed itself in the continuous tension, the minute adjustments, and the flawless coordination that had turned an impossible mission into a historical triumph. How one vessel, executing a secret operation beneath the waves, could preserve intelligence of immense strategic value highlighted the extraordinary responsibility, skill, and bravery of the crew. Never expected were the relentless pressures of physical strain, mental endurance, and operational precision, yet each man maintained focus, teamwork, and resolve, executing the forbidden plan with unwavering dedication. Rejected ideas about hesitation, fear, or improvisation without calculation were replaced with decisive action, synchronization, and adherence to protocol, demonstrating that preparation and discipline could overcome even the deadliest challenges. Secret operation success depended on the seamless integration of human skill, mechanical reliability, and strategic foresight, ensuring that every step preserved the fleet's codes and safeguarded history. How one daring mission, carried out beneath the Atlantic waves, could evade detection, influence naval engagements, and protect critical intelligence became a story of heroism, precision, and audacity. Never expected were the cumulative hazards, environmental unpredictability, and high-stakes decisions, yet the crew had demonstrated the extraordinary capability of human focus and courage under extreme conditions. Rejected ideas of conventional caution or reliance on chance were replaced by preparation, timing, and coordinated action, achieving what many would deem impossible. Shocking truth revealed itself in the aftermath. The submarine had preserved the fleet's codes, maintained stealth throughout enemy-controlled waters, and executed the forbidden plan with flawless discipline. How one small team, performing with absolute cohesion, focus, and bravery, could protect intelligence, save lives, and influence the course of the war, underscored the immense stakes and heroism involved. Never expected were the enduring effects of their actions, as the preserved codes would shape subsequent operations, strategic decisions, and historical outcomes far beyond the vessel's voyage. Rejected ideas, doubts, and alternative strategies had faded into memory, leaving only the audacity, discipline, and precision of the crew as the defining factor in mission success. Secret operation protocols had ensured that every movement, calculation, and decision contributed to the ultimate goal, creating a narrative of courage, skill, and historical significance. How one submarine, its crew, and its mission could endure the Atlantic's relentless hazards while safeguarding the most critical intelligence exemplified the intersection of human courage, technical mastery, and strategic foresight. Never expected were the pressures, challenges, and responsibilities the crew had overcome, leaving a legacy of heroism, precision, and audacity that would resonate in the annals of wartime history. The submarine finally reached calmer waters, the relentless tension of the forbidden plan slowly giving way to reflection, yet the weight of its historical significance remained unmistakable. How one vessel, small yet pivotal, had preserved the fleet's codes while navigating the Atlantic's deadliest sectors, underscored the extraordinary coordination, courage, and skill of its crew. Never expected were the broader consequences of their success, as the intelligence they safeguarded would shape fleet operations, influence strategic decisions, and alter the course of battles far from the submarine's path. Rejected ideas of hesitation, deviation, or conventional caution had been replaced by audacity, precision, and adherence to secret operation protocols, demonstrating that disciplined execution could overcome the most impossible challenges. Shocking truth revealed itself in the quiet moments of the crew's reflection. Each decision, maneuver, and silent action had contributed to the preservation of critical intelligence and the success of the mission. How one small team, performing in perfect cohesion, could protect codes, evade detection, and influence the outcome of war, highlighted the exceptional bravery, skill, and discipline required. Never expected were the cumulative pressures of fatigue, isolation, environmental hazards, and the constant threat of enemy detection, yet the crew had endured with unwavering focus and resolve. Rejected ideas about reliance on luck, conventional tactics, or retreat had been abandoned. The impossible mission demanded calculated audacity and flawless execution. Secret operation protocols had guided every action. Ballast adjustments, silent communications, careful navigation, and anticipatory maneuvers all ensured that the codes remained secure and the mission succeeded. How one vessel, threading unseen beneath the waves, could influence fleet operations and preserve intelligence of immense strategic value, exemplified the intersection of human skill, courage, and historical significance. Never expected were the subtle dangers hidden in currents, acoustic anomalies, and environmental unpredictability, yet each obstacle had been met with precision, coordination, and calm resolve. Rejected ideas of hesitation or deviation had no place. Adherence to the forbidden plan was the only path to success. Shocking truth revealed itself in the flawless execution of maneuvers, the anticipation of threats, and the unbroken focus of the crew, demonstrating that preparation and discipline could transform an impossible mission into historical triumph. How one series of split-second decisions, silent communications, and synchronized actions could safeguard codes, protect lives, and influence naval strategy highlighted the extraordinary responsibility and heroism of the crew. Never expected were the extreme demands on endurance, skill, and composure, yet every individual aboard maintained focus, discipline, and courage, ensuring that the forbidden plan reached completion. Rejected ideas about conventional methods, reliance on chance, or slower, safer routes had been discarded. Only audacity, preparation, and precision dictated every move. Secret operation success relied on the seamless integration of human skill, mechanical reliability, and tactical foresight, preserving intelligence and achieving the mission's objective. How one small submarine, operating with complete cohesion and discipline, could impact the outcome of naval engagements and influence historical events underscored the scale, audacity, and significance of the operation. Never expected were the final moments of high-stakes navigation, split-second maneuvers, and silent coordination that ensured mission success, yet the crew performed flawlessly under extreme conditions. Rejected ideas, doubts, or hesitation were replaced by synchronization, decisive action, and unwavering commitment to the forbidden plan, culminating in the preservation of critical intelligence. Shocking truth revealed itself in the completion of the mission. The submarine had navigated the Atlantic undetected, the fleet's codes remained secure, and the impossible mission had been executed with precision, skill, and courage. How one crew, performing under relentless pressure, could safeguard strategic intelligence, evade detection, and endure environmental hazards highlighted the extraordinary discipline, bravery, and historical importance of their actions. Never expected were the long-term consequences of the mission, as the preserved codes would inform naval strategy, protect fleets, and shape the course of history far beyond the submarine's journey. Rejected ideas, hesitation, and conventional caution had no role in the operation. Only focus, preparation, and audacity defined success. Secret operation protocols had ensured that every decision, maneuver, and adjustment contributed to mission integrity, safeguarding both intelligence and lives. How one small vessel, its crew, and the forbidden plan it executed could triumph over seemingly insurmountable odds underscored the heroism, skill, and historical significance of this Atlantic operation. Never expected were the cumulative dangers, high-stakes decisions, and unbroken vigilance, yet the crew's discipline, courage, and coordination ensured victory, preserving intelligence that would shape history.